This is a recording to facilitate depossession. While the idea of possession is certainly accepted in Christianity and Eastern religions, depossession can also be seen as a hypnosis technique for the scientifically minded. Simulation theory enthusiasts might see it as defragmenting the hard drive so that previously deleted memory can be overwritten efficiently. We'll be collecting behaviors, feelings, and thoughts that don't match who you are, and matching them with a name, a timeline, and a story of life, death, and the beyond. And then we'll send them off like a letter on the string of a balloon. After all, depossession is known as Depossession in Portuguese, although it's not you who's obsessed, it's who's obsessed with you. Make sure you're in a quiet, peaceful place where you'll not be disturbed for about a half hour. You may need to stop this recording and come back to it later if the proper conditions are not present. Depossession does not replace proper medical or psychological care. If you have a physical problem, see a doctor, a mental problem, a therapist, an addiction struggle, an addiction specialist. Alcohol and drug use being both an outcome and a risk factor for possession, it is important to note that sobriety is required. Grab an extra layer for warmth if you don't have one, since you can expect a little drop in body temperature. One depossession method is to record yourself speaking in response to the questions on this recording. Otherwise, it is very helpful to write down key details within a few minutes of the depossession. It's not uncommon to have ideas come to mind quickly, and if you feel like you're just making something up, that's a good sign. Second-guessing yourself and drawing a blank are perfectly acceptable as well. Choosing to go with your first, second, or third thought will be easy with the method you'll be using. When the time comes, you will surprise yourself by answering yes or no questions without ever consciously choosing one or the other. Focusing your mind on the full question, you will run an impulse from your brain to your non-dominant hand to raise either the ring finger for yes or the middle finger for no. Of course, you must have complete detachment from the outcome, since the point is to surprise yourself. Like the idea of possession itself, you don't have to believe in it in order to use this method. We're just writing a story that makes sense to your deeper mind by having it write for us. We don't have to believe in radios to hear invisible electrical information. A coil of wires conducting a current creates an electrical field that receives information from another electrical field. The cells of our bodies also have electrical fields, and strong radio frequencies are known to both cause and treat cancer. Our bodies also have magnetic fields, which can be resonated to produce images known as MRI. And our cells also have quantum fields, which send and receive information from other quantum fields instantaneously, regardless of distance, via quantum entanglement, which Einstein called spooky action at a distance. This explains the common occurrence of receiving a phone call from the exact person you were just thinking about, or calling your friend who answers excitedly and says she was just thinking of you. So even though receiving answers through quantum entanglement is called divining, it doesn't require spiritual belief, and there's nothing supernatural about it. The answers aren't necessarily coming from some other entity or power, but if you're concerned that they are, the best thing to do is to ask through the quantum field and possibly perform a depossession. You may begin by slightly deepening your breath. Imagine a white light gleaming from a celestial orb like the sun, with its center above your belly button, the width of 3 fingers. It's as bright as day and filling the space surrounding your body 3 feet on all sides. Notice how this white light feels to breathe in. Sensing your aura's fresh, bright colors in the space inside your body and reaching a few inches around it, this is known as your etheric body. The light of the sun in your belly is illuminating this space brighter and brighter, and extending out to surround the etheric body in an oval shape. This is your emotional or astral body, and it is being strengthened when you relax and breathe with no effort or labor, allowing this light to fill in anywhere your consciousness connects as you explore the colors in all the spaces, in some places over a foot behind you or in front of you, encircling your body with brilliant white light, holding every color, shining out into the mental body, which does not have a definite size. Outside of that, the highest vibrational subtle body is the unknowable darkness known as the causal body. Return your attention to the sun in the center of your body. Notice any changes to the colors you are able to visualize in the oval-shaped aura of your astral body, and how much stronger you can sense your aura inside your body and just around it. Notice that there are some areas in the layers of your aura where it is easier to imagine white or colored light, and naturally, some places are less accessible to your conscious projection. Gently focus your energy in your body and push light into those darker areas. Any possessing entities who are ready to go into the light without additional assistance from the living are welcomed to be received by their loved ones in the light that shines beyond embodied life. There may be sensations in the upper body as they float away into the light. You give them your blessing and let them know they are not welcome to return. Now, get ready to answer a question with the finger raise method, or whichever divination method you prefer. In a moment, you will send an impulse from your brain down to your hand, and instead of choosing to raise one finger or the other, tell yourself that you will raise your ring finger for yes and your middle finger for no, but you won't know which until you observe which finger raises. Say to yourself silently, "Show me yes," then send the impulse to your hand and notice which finger raises. Say, "Show me no." Listen to your body. If you observe a different finger raising than you expected to indicate yes or no, just remember what is yes and no to your body and use that. Remember, a no answer is just as good as a yes, since it can only deepen the creative process. Make sure your quantum instrumentation is calibrated. Form the following question in your mind fully before sending the impulse for the answer. Ask if you are a nature documentary about wild buffalo. Then ask if you're a human being. Awesome. You're doing great. You're not intentionally raising one finger or the other, but instead leaning into your subconscious to execute the intention that you know you just used to prime yourself. I say ask, but we're also making statements and checking true or false. We're essentially creating a biofeedback device. See how effortlessly you can differentiate "show me yes" from "show me no." From now on, this recording will be addressing the possessing entities as you, and the living person who is listening will be referred to as the subject. By playing this recording, the subject is showing a commitment to helping everyone involved. You're in a tough situation because you can't learn anything after death, so you need a living person to assist you, and you are extraordinarily fortunate to have access to one right now. The subject has a different name than you and a different life. Neither of you can go back to not knowing that. You may not remember dying right now, but can you truly say that this is your life, your name, your face? You've been missing out on complete love and acceptance where it's warm and bright, instead of here where it's always cold and dark. So is there an entity who's been hiding, who's ready now? Is it safe to initiate a discussion? If the answer is no, is it due to the subject's surroundings, state of mind, or condition of body? Does the entity feel safe? Do we have permission from the subject and the entity to continue? When did you die? Was it more than 10 years ago? More than 5 or 20 years? Did you possess anyone else before the subject you're with now? If so, whom? How long ago did you possess the subject? What is your name? If there's a name in the subject's mind, is that correct? What's the first letter of your name? Is it before M? Before G or T? The name may be familiar or strange, domestic or foreign, formal or a nickname. Are you okay with being called by your first and last initial only? In a moment, we'll be asking some open-ended questions. Most people will have an imagination of something or other after 2 or 3 seconds. Success depends on focusing effortlessly on the question with the intention of noticing whatever comes to mind next, without judgment or rejecting something that doesn't seem to fit. Yes or no questions can then be used to check any thoughts that come up, for the subject to become acquainted with the possessing entity to facilitate the depossession. What's a good memory from your life, or something that feels familiar to you? Do you remember when you died? Being dead feels a lot like being alive, but you did die. Can you remember the last moments in your own body? What's stopping you from going into the light? What would convince you to go into the light? What if you knew you were forgiven by everyone you know? You can continue to do any activities you enjoy, even bad habits, beyond the light. There are counselors and programs that are perfect, unlike anything possible on Earth. You'll have a perfect spirit body, healthy and young. You can visit loved ones who are still living just by thinking about them. And loved ones who have passed on are holding their hands out for you. Is there someone whose hand you would take and be led into the light? Are you moving into the light now? Are you continuing to move away from the subject and into the light? Are you comfortable moving through the light on your own now? After the depossession, it will be necessary for the subject not to dwell on the thoughts, feelings, or activities that interested the depossessed spirit. The subject may notice a newfound freedom and spaciousness. It is important for the subject to continue to visualize white light every day. The ability to strengthen the aura in this manner will continue to improve over time, and this skill will not be lost, even if the subject forgets to practice it. If the subject has been recording, the recording can be stopped now. Otherwise, it is time to write down some key details. Another conversation with the same entity may be necessary later. It is a good idea to practice depossession again and again until a consistent no reading comes up regarding whether or not there are any possible possessing entities, keeping in mind that some could still be hiding, and a change to lifestyle or attitude could make a future depossession possible.